And the Saints' first practice after their first preseason game. The defense really won the day in today's practice. Welcome back to The Dot, presented by Matt Bowers Auto Group. I'm Brooke Kirchhoffer alongside Nick Underhill. The defense seemed like they had something to prove in this first practice back from the preseason game, didn't it?
Yeah, they were locked in. It was definitely a defense first day. I feel like that's kind of been the theme of practice so for maybe the last 7 or 8 of them. They've been coming out. They've been playing really, really well. I like everything we're seeing from that group. Really physical play. Lattimore is from another planet right now. They are locked in for sure.
He was locked down, Marshawn, in practice today. They were inside for the entire practice, which ended up being a good thing because it was pouring down rain, as we could hear outside. But for Marshawn, it was the first time that we heard him talk in all of Saints training camp, which was good to hear, especially when he talked about the connection between him and Michael Thomas and the fact that he sees it in Michael Thomas that he can get back and be his best self. What did you take away from his press conference today?
Well, first of all, shout out to the Saints PR staff for getting him up there. That's not the easiest task in the world. They stayed on it. They got him up. Every time Marshawn talks, though, it's like an event. He is so good at just talking about the game. His personality is great. And his maturity is the thing that kind of stands out to me the most right now. Him talking about how he wants to be great. I'm not sure that we've ever heard that from him before. He's always been a motivated person, but there's just kind of an awareness of where he's at in his career. And I think we see the focus on the field with how well he's playing every single day. He's locked in. And that didn't used to be the case at these practices. He's a different guy now with the way he approaches the game.
Yeah, I wanted to hear why he thinks he's the best. I was able to ask him, look, what makes you set apart from the other cornerbacks around the league? And he said his physicality. Look, everybody's fast. There's a ton of wide receivers that are super fast that they have to go up against. So for him, it's what can set his game apart. And he does believe it's his physicality. A couple attendance notes. Demario Davis was back at practice, but not participating in practice. We saw him go through stretch and a little bit of warm-up. We're not sure if he was in the linebacker drills. We don't think he was, because when we looked over to the side when it was more of the team stuff, he was off to the side working on the sled. Michael Thomas was not at practice, and there was a couple of injuries in today's practice as well.
Yeah, Taysom Hill left early. Cesar Ruiz left early. Dennis Allen said neither one are major injuries. That's kind of the theme, though. Every injury is not a major injury, I guess. But it doesn't sound like anything that's super concerning. At least Caesar's thing isn't related to his foot, so that's a good situation. So I don't think it's anything to worry about. DA hasn't lied to us yet, so I'm going to take his word for it.
Yeah, and the guys who we haven't seen at practice were not out here, so no new updates on that outside of Michael Thomas not being out at practice. We're not sure kind of what the situation is there, or it was a vet day. Okay, not an injury. And as we mentioned, Lattimore did make it very clear that he has full confidence that Michael Thomas is working back to his best self, and he thinks that we will all see that once the regular season is here. All right, plays of the day. For me, it was in the 2-minute drill when Derek Carr found Juwan Johnson kind of in that tight window, him sprinting sideline to sideline, and was able to find him. I believe it was on first or second down. The connection between those two, to me, has been really impressive. We know Derek Carr is a tight end friendly quarterback, but to actually see it in these really competitive drills when the defense is playing at the height of their game, for him to find Juwan Johnson on that play was really impressive. But Juwan didn't win all of them, and I think that was your play of the day, right?
Yeah, well, first, Juwan is built for that 2-minute drill, too. He is the perfect prototype tight end for the way they want to attack the field in those situations. He's fast. He gets up the seam. He had a few catches during that period that were pretty impressive, and that's just a continuation of how he's played throughout. But, yeah, my play of the day, Marshawn ended up on Juwan Johnson. Anyone that ends up on Marshawn gets suffocated and, kind of dies a slow death out on the field. Juwan was going to the pylon. Marshawn just kind of, cut him off, and the way he cut off the route, it was just unbelievable. He got between Juwan and the quarterback, and just there was nowhere to go with the ball. And just his technique right now is just otherworldly. I cannot overstate how good Lattimore is playing football right now.
It's crazy to think that he's having an even better camp than he did last year, given just the level at which he was at. And, of course, he even mentioned the fluke injury that happened last year, the lacerated kidney. He said somebody's knee hit him, and that's how that injury happened. He's back to his old self and is getting better and better each practice. But the next time you see us, we will be in beautiful weather in California for Costa Mesa, as the Saints and Chargers will take on each other in joint practices. And for me, this is what I've been looking forward to, especially when we have a lot of questions with the second and third string offensive line. Also, too, I want to see more of Isaiah Foskey. He's gone so under the radar. I don't know what it's going to take for him to pop, but for me, it's the offensive second string and third string offensive line, Isaiah Foskey, a couple other players that I want to see in California. But what about you?
Well, I want to see Trevor Penning. I think that's kind of like the huge story with the team right now is just like how is he going to continue to progress and get better? And then going against different guys, we'll see it a little bit more clearly. But the headliner, and I'm just going to take the low-hanging fruit here, it's Justin Herbert just trying out the secondary. And they've been looking really good, but going against a different quarterback with one of the best arms in the whole entire league, it's going to be a different type of test. And I think we'll get a clearer look at Alontae Taylor and Paulson Adebo, that battle. I've been really high on Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu as a safety duo, but like going against a guy that can take the top off a defense the way he can, like we're going to find out about that range. Jordan Howden, he's been the starting free safety in some nickel and dime looks. Like if he doesn't have the range, we're going to find out really quick. So I like the fact that if they're for real, I think we're going to know they're for real after this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a good benchmark for the New Orleans Saints. We will be out there doing our typical Monday, Wednesday, Friday shows. You're going to see those shows out there. I believe our first one is going to be Thursday night when we do our 30-minute show after that first Saints-Chargers practice, and we will have some special features on the way too. We'll see you then.